Alright class, today we're going to dive into the exciting world of forces. Forces are all around us, and they affect how objects move, stop, or change direction. Now when we talk about forces, we're talking about different pushes or pulls that can make things happen. Some forces work when two objects touch, like when you push a chair to move it, and some forces can act even when objects don't touch, like when you drop something and it falls to the ground because of gravity. We're going to investigate three important forces today: gravity, friction, and magnetism. We'll also learn how these forces can act up close or from a distance, and we'll notice patterns in how they behave. Let's start with gravity. Have you ever wondered why, when you jump into the air, you come back down to the ground? That's because of gravity, a force that pulls objects toward the center of the Earth. No matter how high you jump or how heavy an object is, gravity is always at work pulling things down. This is a pattern of gravity. It always pulls objects toward the Earth no matter how far they are from the ground. If we were to conduct an investigation, we could drop different objects from the same height and notice how gravity pulls them down at the same rate. But the fun part is that even though all objects fall because of gravity, the way they fall can change if other forces like friction get involved. Speaking of friction, this is another force that we need to understand. Friction happens when two surfaces rub against each other, and it slows things down. For example, if you roll a ball on the floor, it eventually stops because friction between the ball and the floor slows it down. In our investigations, we could push objects like toy cars on different surfaces, carpet, tile, or even sand, and observe how friction affects how far they go. The rougher the surface, the more friction there is, and the slower the object will move. This is a pattern we can notice about friction. The rougher or bumpier the surface, the stronger the friction force, and the quicker an object stops moving. So, friction helps us slow down or stop moving objects. Now let's talk about magnetism. Magnetism is a force that can either push or pull objects that are made of certain materials, like iron. You've probably played with magnets before, right? One of the coolest things about magnetism is that it can work even when the objects aren't touching. If you bring a magnet close to a paperclip, the magnetism will pull the paperclip toward it, even if they aren't touching yet. This is what we call a force acting at a distance. You can see this pattern with magnets when you test them with different objects. Some materials like iron or steel are attracted to magnets, while others like wood or plastic aren't. If we plan an investigation with magnets, we can explore how magnetism works over different distances. The closer the magnet is to the object, the stronger the pull, but even from farther away, magnets can still have an effect. So, to sum it up, forces like gravity, friction, and magnetism all affect how objects move in different ways. Gravity pulls objects down toward the Earth, friction slows things down when they rub against each other, and magnetism can pull or push certain materials even from a distance. By planning and conducting investigations, we can observe patterns in how these forces act on objects, whether they are near or far away, in contact or not. Understanding these forces helps us better understand how things work in the world around us. In our upcoming investigations, you'll get to experiment with different materials and surfaces to see how these forces behave. You'll drop objects, roll things, and test magnets to uncover the patterns of gravity, friction, and magnetism in action. So, get ready to be scientists and let's explore the awesome world of forces together.